One of the prime distractions in our environment in this modern world, and this is a distraction that people didn't used to have, okay? And I want to focus in on this one specifically because it applies to, I believe, every one of you who is listening to me right now. You need to ask yourself about the people you are around most of the time, because their norms affect your behavior. Hey everybody, so I went out today at about 12:15, worked out. When I got to the gym, it got me thinking about the funny effect that being at the gym, arriving at the gym, and just being in that environment has on a person's behavior. And so, what I want to talk to you today about is the relationship between environment and change, because I think that the environment is an underappreciated agent of change. And we're going to discuss today what it is about the environment that is so important to your ability to change. And we're going to also go over two things, two very, very important things in this modern world that are part of your environment that maybe you aren't intentional enough about, and perhaps you need to be more intentional, more purposeful about controlling. Okay, so this is Mark Johnson, and I am the founder of Bounce Back, bringing you ideas for a fit and flourishing future. And I am also the youngest son of Bill Johnson. I do want you to go ahead and subscribe if you have not done so already. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. I do appreciate you lending me your time and your ear. It is much appreciated. I want you to make sure that you leave some comments. If you, whether you agree or disagree, it's okay to disagree. And sometimes I learn stuff from you guys. So go ahead, leave some comments and let me know what you think about anything that you hear. It's okay. Just keep it respectful. I'm very respectful. Hope you do the same. So with that said, let's jump right in. So what is the relationship between environment and change? Well, the good news is it doesn't take very long to explain that. Okay, so I can do that in about 30 seconds. Your environment triggers much of your behavior. Therefore, if you want to change yourself in some way, then it follows that you need to change your environment in order to do that. It's just that simple. Okay? I said it was going to be simple, right? And there it is. Okay? If you want to change your behavior, one of the biggest things you need to pay attention to and change is your environment, because your environment directly affects your behavior. It triggers your behavior. Okay. Now, what I want to discuss in a little bit more detail is one of the prime distractions in our environment in this modern world. And this is a distraction that people didn't used to have. Okay. And I want to focus in on this one specifically because it applies to, I believe, every one of you who is listening to me right now. I think this probably is something that every single one of you can relate to. I want to talk to you about your smartphones. Now, most, if not all of you watching right now have a smartphone. So you're going to know exactly what I mean. Okay. When I go to the gym, I can tell you that I go down the stairs and I enter the actual training gym. I put my bag on a shelf, and inside the bag is my smartphone. And I don't turn the smartphone off, but basically I put it inside the bag. I put the bag away on a shelf, nowhere near where I'm actually working out. Okay. And I make it a point to go in there and focus on actually working out. And the gym is so wonderful because it's such a purposeful space. You see the environment, everything in that environment is conducive to simply focusing on working out. Now, when you get there, notice how when you go to the gym, what's going to happen is you're either going to show up in there and you're going to start working out, or you're going to look around and say, you know what, I don't feel like doing this, and you're just going to leave. But you're not going to show up to the gym and just take a seat and sit there for 2 hours scrolling through your phone or something like that, or just lollygagging. You're either going to be in there working out or doing something, moving something, or you're going to leave, right? And that's because the environment focuses your attention on exercise, on leveling up your body in some way. Okay? Now, let me get back to the smartphones, because this is a very, very interesting phenomenon that we have in our modern world. You may not consider your smartphone to be part of your environment, but actually it is. And what makes the smartphone so unique is that it's a transportable part of the environment. And so what this means is that, contrary to many other things that you have in your physical environment, if you just take a look around whatever room you're in or whatever space you're in, even if you're outside, if you take a look around and look at your environment, most of the stuff around you, you can't necessarily pick it up and just take it with you. Like when you leave that physical space, you leave everything behind. But the one thing in this modern world that most, if not all of us have, that we can transport to every environment that we're in, is that smartphone. And the smartphone is, in my opinion, the biggest weapon of mass destruction in this modern world today. Mass distraction. Did I say destruction or distraction? If I said destruction, I meant to say distraction. But the smartphone is the biggest weapon of mass distraction in this modern world today. Simply for the fact that we can take it anywhere, and it can take us off of our focus at any time, anywhere we're at, right? So because the smartphone is portable and it's always a part of your environment, this means that you have to get control over your smartphone so that it doesn't affect your behavior in ways that take your focus off of what's important. And the smartphone is really, really effective at doing that. It's going to try to notify you about every little thing that someone wants to market to you, advertise to you. Things that aren't urgent at all are pinging on your phone constantly as if they're the most important thing in the world. And everyone is trying to sell you something, and these smartphones enable them to constantly notify you with a bunch of nonsense that is not urgent and that most of it you don't actually care about, right? And so all of these notifications, all of this useless, vacuous information that's coming through your smartphone serves to take away your focus, and it's portable to every environment that you're in. Mark Johnson here. I'm excited to invite you to join Bounce Pep's 3-day VIP focus and follow through retreat here in Kyoto, Japan. Your time is the most valuable asset that you have, and you can't waste it. So I want you to come join me. I'm going to work with you personally. We're going to work on what your true purpose should be at this point in your life so that you can focus in on it and you can follow through and make progress. You're going to be treated like a true VIP. You're going to have 2 days of the actual program where we do a bit of work, and then we're going to have 1 day where you go on a curated tour through the legendary city of Kyoto, Japan. If you've never been to Japan, this is your chance. So remember what I said about environment and change. If you want to change yourself, you have to change your environment. One of the ways you can do this is to get control over that phone. Turn off the notifications. You don't need to know about some stupid $3 coupon that ABC Corporation decided to issue today. It's really not that urgent. And when you're ready to check the news, you can do that. You don't need to be notified about the latest news story. When you're ready to check the news, you can go to a website and check it yourself. When somebody posts something on Facebook, you don't need to be notified immediately. When you're ready to look at Facebook, you can go to Facebook and see what's happening yourself, right? But all of these sites, everybody wants to notify you about everything now, like everything is super urgent and you've just got to know it right now. So disable the notifications, okay? Emails, all that stuff. Disable that stuff. And when you're in a particular space where you need to get something done, you need to focus, hunker down, and get something done, pay attention, and actually do it for an extended period of time, you'll be able to do that much more effectively if you don't have all these doggone notifications interrupting you all the time. This is a huge problem with people's attention spans right now because these phones are always interrupting us if we allow them to. So that's my point about the smartphones, okay? And I've seen this, I see this on dates. Now, I'm old school, okay? I grew up in an era before smartphones. And when we would go on dates, if you showed up at a restaurant or something, or you were out, with your date doing whatever, you were there to interact with the person that you were with, converse with the person that you're with. If I'm out on a date with a girl when I'm young, I'm focused on her. I'm not engrossed in my phone. And in fact, that technology didn't exist then, but the technology exists now. And so I see people now on dates, literally on dates, and I'll see the man and the woman who should be conversing and enjoying the time together and getting to know one another. And instead, they're both looking at their phones. And it's not something that's rare. I see this quite often. And again, it just goes to that question of focus again. How do you focus on anything when you got this smartphone and you got guys who can't even pay attention to the beautiful woman in front of them because they're engrossed in their stupid phone? I mean, are we kidding here? So we got to get control over these smartphones. Make sure that they're not controlling us, okay? Ultra portability means that smartphones are part of every environment that you enter. And so you've got to get control over that phone, okay? You've got to get control over that phone. So turn off the smartphone if you have to turn it off completely. If not completely, disable most, if not all, of the notifications because not everything is urgent. Not everything deserves your immediate attention. You don't need to be interrupted by every little thing. Now, another thing that I want to talk to you about is something that is fairly obvious, but it does need to be talked about. Okay, your environment is it's not only your physical surroundings and the sensory stimuli, right? It's not only that. A huge part of your environment, any environment that you're in, is the people. Let me repeat, a huge, important, pivotal part of any environment that you are in is the people. So you need to ask yourself about the people you are around most of the time, because their norms affect your behavior. Whether you realize it or not, their norms affect your behavior. If you think that you can just hang out with people all the time and their patterns of behavior have no effect on yours, you're kidding yourself. Okay? You all are pretty much in the same boat. Your norms affect their norms affect your behavior. Okay? And their expectations affect their behavior, and it can affect your behavior by extension. So if you are hanging around with people who don't have high expectations for their lives and for what they want to accomplish, for the types of experiences that they want to have in their lives, then that can affect your own outlook and your own behavior. So pay attention to the people that you are spending your time with in any environment that you go into. The people are a pivotal part of any environment that you are in. Remember what I said. If you want to change your behavior, you need to change your environment. Sometimes the change that you need to make is a relationship. You may have to spend less time with a certain person. If you don't cut them off completely, just spend less time because their norms of behavior are not conducive to you going where you want to in your life. So you can't give too much of your time to them. You can't be infected with their bull jive, so to speak, right? So I want you to keep that in mind about the importance of people and how they affect your environment. Get yourself in a different space, get yourself around different people, okay? So that's my message to you today. That's the relationship between environment and change, okay? Just remember, environment triggers behavior, it triggers many of your habits, and therefore, if you want to change your behavior, if you want to change your thoughts, if you want to change some of the habits that you have, you need to actually start with changing your environment or manipulating elements within your environment, eliminating certain elements so that they allow you to focus on what's really important and get things that need to get done expeditiously and effectively. That's my message for you today. I want you to take this with you and talk to you next time.